All right, moving on to task 7. So you are going to need to be able to flip back and look at task 3 for this. If you want to unstable it, that's fine, to make it easier for yourself so you're not having to flip through so many times. I'm okay with that. In task 3, you identified direct paths between various park attractions and drawing them in with red lines. Now you will show off your skills by writing equations for each of those red lines. So we're going to use that linear equation that we talked about a few weeks ago, y equals mx plus b form. If you remember, b stands for the y-intercept and m stands for the slope. So we already have calculated the slope, but we don't know the y-intercept. So that's what this task is going to be, is to solve for that y-intercept. Sorry about the bells. And then write it as the linear equation style that we're used to. So again, I'm going to talk about that toddler area to concessions because I've already solved for the slope. So if I go back to task 3, back here, right there, I have 2 points, which this is the toddler area point, and this is the concessions area interest point, and then my negative 2/3 was the slope that I calculated in that task. So I'm going to use the slope, the negative 2/3, and pick one of the points, whether that's 7, negative 12, or if that's negative 5, negative 4. I only need to pick one of them, okay? I'm going to pick this negative 5, negative 4, and then I have to use the slope that I found, so negative 2/3. Okay, so now I go back to task 7. And in order to solve for b, I'm going to write in the equation y equals mx plus b. I know the slope, which is m, that is negative 2/3. I also know an x and a y because I have the point negative 5, negative 4 that I got from either the toddler area or the concessions, because that's what I'm talking about. I can use either point, it doesn't matter, I will get the same answer. Okay? So my x coordinate and my y coordinate. So in place of x, I'm going to write negative 5. And in place of y, I'm going to write negative 4. I still am missing that b. Okay? So now I'm just going to solve for b. So I first of all have to simplify one side of the equation. So I can type in my calculator negative 2/3 times 5, negative 5, and I get 3 1/3 plus b is still equal to negative 4. Since 3 1/3 and b are added together, I need to do the opposite operation to get it by itself. So I'm going to subtract 3 1/3, subtract 3 1/3. Negative 4 minus negative 3 1/3. I am typing this in my calculator. You can do that as well. I get a negative 7 1/3 is equal to b. So I now have my y-intercept coordinate, and I also have my slope. So now I'm going to rewrite it in that generic equation. Y equals m, which is my slope, is negative 2/3. X plus my b is negative 7 1/3. I don't care if you write your b as a mixed number or as an improper fraction or as a decimal, but please do not round. So if it's a fraction, leave it as a fraction. If you have questions, of course, you can always ask me on Zoom. I know this step is something that we talked about earlier in the semester, and it's kind of a review. So if you have questions or anything like that, please, it's probably going to be easier to talk to you on Zoom rather than through email. So let me know if you can make it to the Zoom, or if you can't make it to the Zoom, make sure that you watch the Zoom recording because your question might get answered in there.